had so many discussions today. We've heard from so many industry experts. I hope you've enjoyed these sessions as much as I have. It's not quite over yet because we've got a final session coming up. I would like to welcome to the virtual stage Joe Petrocelli. Joe is VP of Product Management at Qualys, and Joe is going to address how to navigate the security challenges that LLM creators face, and he'll also be showcasing a demo of Total AI, which is Qualys's latest solution to secure this rapidly growing technology. So please join me in welcoming Joe.
Hi everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Joe Petrocelli, Vice President of Product Management at Qualys, and today we're going to be talking about navigating security challenges of your large language models. So in terms of what we're going to be going over today, first thing we're going to do is just take a look at the overall AI threat landscape. Then we'll look at LLM-related risk, then infrastructure risks, model risks, and then we'll finish up by looking at Qualys Total AI and take a demo of the product. We'll take a look at a product tour. Okay, as I said, the first thing we're going to do is look at AI threat landscape. So what exactly are LLMs? Large language models are basically artificial neural networks using transformers on top of them. Transformers are a revolutionary deep learning architecture that forms the foundation of modern large language models, or LLMs. They have significantly advanced neural language processing capabilities and are widely used in various applications. Essentially, transformers are the piece that allows you to input plain English and get plain English back. So it's important to note that LLMs are just prediction models. They predict the next word in the sentence based on probabilities from the previous text. This is why sometimes they can hallucinate or give inaccurate information. This predictive nature of LLMs introduce risks, particularly in enterprise settings. Attackers can manipulate models through carefully designed prompts to reveal sensitive data, potentially including the data the model was actually trained on. Securing LLMs is vital given the potential negative implications from these vulnerabilities. LLMs are already transforming industries, from generating personalized product recommendations in e-commerce to summarizing medical consultations in healthcare. While consumer applications are quickly adopting the models, more regulated industries like finance and healthcare and government are cautiously exploring them due to the concerns about data privacy and compliance. And as LLM usage expands, so does the attack surface, which makes security an essential consideration as we move forward. So specific to those adoption rates, let's take a quick look at how the rapid adoption of LLMs is in big business. Over 70% of enterprises plan to deploy LLMs or have them deployed in the next 12 months. That's an incredibly large number. And while it's exciting due to the possibility of all the efficiencies that come along with using Gen AI, it has a really large number of possible security implications when you take a step back and take a look at it for a minute. So most security teams that we've spoken to are completely blindsided by this. They often aren't aware, they just don't know what their development folks are doing and where they have LLMs running. And they're often not in the loop when it comes to the plans to move forward, merely because those dev teams just don't understand the risk, so they're not including their security teams. This creates a scenario where risks are being overlooked because security teams are struggling to keep pace with these super fast deployments, and they're constantly learning of all the new instances of LLMs or AI tools in the environment that they're supposed to be protecting. And even after instances and possible risks are found, there's no clear way to prioritize them across all of the other things that they need to worry about from a day-to-day basis, which really just leads to a gap in protection and their ability to keep those environments safe. And when these security gaps are left open, enterprises are forced to take unnecessary risks. And those unnecessary risks can lead to some pretty severe consequences. First is data breaches. If an LLM is not adequately identified and secured, it can become a super easy vector for data leaks. And since LLMs are trained on large data sets, which are specific to the organization that they're being developed by, they might inadvertently generate outputs that include sensitive or proprietary information, leading to some sort of a data breach. And then there's reputation damage or brand damage. A data breach, or really any type of security incident involving an LLM, can damage an organization's reputation, which can easily lead to a loss of trust among customers, among partners, and this would most definitely result in decreased customer retention and difficulties when you're talking about winning new business. And just like in any industry, or any personal relationship for that matter, reputation is a very hard thing to repair. And lastly, our financial costs. While the most obvious costs are that of loss of business or potential fines from regulatory issues, there are direct costs associated with responding to a security incident. We're talking about things like forensics investigations, increased tactical security measures, legal fees, and really potential compensation for any affected parties in the case where something like PII is leaked. So now we'll take a look at LLM-related security risks. Now that we've covered the potential negative consequences of a security gap, let's discuss some of the specific attack vectors that make LLMs vulnerable. These attacks can be broadly split into two different buckets: infrastructure-related and model-related risks. On the infrastructure side, the risks are similar to what we see in a traditional IT environment. Things like misconfigurations or vulnerabilities. These can lead to model theft or data leakage, and since LLMs are often treated like the crown jewels of an organization, just due to the time, resources, and potential proprietary information that's required to train them, securing that infrastructure that supports the models is really non-negotiable and must be considered of real paramount importance. The second bucket involves model-related attacks. These include sending specially crafted prompts through that transformer that we talked about to the model itself in order to manipulate it. This is often referred to as prompt injection or jailbreak attacks. In these attacks, the goal is to bypass the model's ethical or security restrictions and get it to generate either harmful or just inappropriate content. And we're going to take a little bit of a look at that later on in our demo. Okay, so now we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the risks that are associated directly with infrastructure. Misconfigurations and inadequate access management pose significant risks to LLM infrastructure security. When security settings are improperly configured or access control is not rigorously enforced, it can create vulnerabilities that malicious actors can exploit. For instance, misconfigurations in a network or application security setting could inadvertently expose internal resources to the LLM, potentially leading to unauthorized data access or system compromise. Similarly, insufficient access controls might grant excessive privileges to users or the LLM itself, increasing the risk of data breaches, unauthorized actions, or system manipulation. These issues are particularly critical in LLM environments due to the model's ability to process and generate vast amounts of potentially sensitive information. Proper configuration and strict access management are essential to maintain the integrity, confidentiality, and availability of LLM systems and the data that they handle. Software, supply chain, and dependency integrity are critical aspects of LLM infrastructure security that can significantly impact risk. The complex ecosystem of software components, different libraries, and dependencies that support LLMs creates multiple potential points of vulnerability. Compromised software and malicious code injected into that supply chain could lead to unauthorized access, data breaches, or some type of model manipulation. And then third-party dependencies, if not properly vetted and regularly updated, can introduce vulnerabilities that attackers can exploit. And moreover, the integrity of pre-trained models and data sets used in LLM development is crucial, as tainted or poisoned data could result in biased or manipulated outputs. Ensuring the authenticity and security of all components in the LLM pipeline, from development tools all the way to deployment platforms, is absolutely essential to maintain the overall security and reliability of the LLM infrastructure. Regular audits, secure coding practices, and robust version control are vital in mitigating these risks. Data security is a critical factor in managing risk within LLM infrastructure. LLMs process an incredible amount of data, often including sensitive or proprietary data, making them very attractive targets for cybercriminals. Inadequate data security measures can lead to unauthorized access, data breaches, or data manipulation, potentially compromising the integrity and confidentiality of an LLM's training data and thereby its outputs. This can result in reputational damage, legal consequences, or financial loss. And insecure data handling practices may inadvertently expose personal information or trade secrets during that training inference process. Robust data encryption, secure storage solutions, and stringent access controls are absolutely essential to protect data at rest and in transit. Additionally, implementing data minimalization techniques and ensuring proper data sanitation can help reduce the risk of sensitive information leakage. Effective data security not only safeguards the LLM's knowledge base, but also maintains user trust and compliance with data protection regulations. So, attack paths in the context of LLM security demonstrate how threat actors can exploit multiple vulnerabilities to compromise a system. By chaining those together, different types of CVEs or common vulnerabilities and exposures, attackers can create a path from initial access to their ultimate objective, which is getting access to that LLM data. The example that we're looking at here is CVE TAC 2023 TAC 48022, and it illustrates how vulnerabilities can be linked together to establish a comprehensive attack path. Initial access is first, and that's where the vulnerability may allow an attacker to gain unauthorized entry into the LLM system through some sort of publicly facing application. Second is persistence. Once inside, an attacker could exploit aspects of that vulnerability to maintain their presence in the system, possibly by creating a backdoor, adding rogue users, or manipulating some sort of configuration setting. And then lastly is that privilege escalation. It's the final stage of the attack, and it usually involves an attacker leveraging a vulnerability to increase their privileges inside of that LLM environment, potentially gaining admin access. And from there, they'd be able to do or take whatever it is that they want to do or whatever it is that they want to be able to accomplish. This chaining of vulnerabilities together creates a dangerous attack path that allows a bad actor to move from an external position to one of significant control within the LLM infrastructure. And understanding these types of attack paths is crucial for developing effective security strategies and prioritizing vulnerability remediation efforts inside of that LLM infrastructure. Okay, so now we're going to step over to model risks and talk a little bit about the different risks that we see inside of the models themselves. So safety is a critical concern in the context of model risk for large language models. These powerful AI systems can produce outputs that may be biased, they might be inaccurate, they might be potentially harmful if they're not properly managed. Inherent biases in training data can lead to unfair or discriminatory responses, while concept drift over time can cause the model's performance to degrade, resulting in an increasingly unreliable output. This is why sometimes if you go to ChatGPT or something like that, your experience might vary day to day or week by week. That lack of explainability in an LLM's decision-making process poses challenges in understanding and mitigating risk, making it difficult to predict or prevent unsafe outputs. Furthermore, LLMs may generate content that's inappropriate. Sometimes it's false. It could even be dangerous, such as providing instructions for illegal activities or spreading misinformation. These safety concerns underscore the importance of a robust model governance, continuous monitoring, and the implementation of safeguards to ensure that LLMs operate within ethical and safety boundaries. Addressing these issues is crucial not only for maintaining the integrity and reliability of the LLM application, but also for building trust with users and your stakeholders. Security is a paramount concern in the realm of model risk for LLMs. These sophisticated systems face various threats that can compromise their integrity or reliability. Model theft poses significant risks, where adversaries might attempt to extract or replicate proprietary models, potentially leading to intellectual property loss and unauthorized use. Prompt injection attacks exploit vulnerabilities in LLMs by crafting malicious inputs that manipulate the model into generating harmful or unintended outputs. And adversarial attacks such as data poisoning or invasion techniques can deceive LLMs into producing erroneous results or bypassing those safety measures that are put in. Additionally, the issue of excessive agency arises when LLMs are granted too much autonomy in decision-making process, potentially leading to actions that exceed their intended scope or authority. And these security concerns highlight the need for a robust defense mechanism, including input sanitization, model hardening, and strict access control. Implementing comprehensive security measures is crucial to protect the LLMs from malicious exploitation and really ensures their safe and reliable operation inside whatever various applications you're trying to use. And lastly, responsibility. Responsibility is a crucial part of model risk management, encompassing ethical considerations, compliance requirements, transparency, and accountability. As LLMs become increasingly integrated into the decision-making process and user interactions, organizations need to ensure that these systems operate within ethical boundaries. They need to respect human values and avoid harm. Compliance with regulatory frameworks and industry standards is essential to mitigate legal and reputational risks associated with an LLM deployment. And transparency in data model development, the training of that model, and the decision-making processes is vital for building trust with stakeholders and enabling effective oversight. Lastly, clear accountability mechanisms need to be established to attribute responsibility for LLM outputs and actions, ensuring that human operators remain in control and can intervene whenever it is necessary. This includes implementing robust government structures, conducting regular audits, maintaining comprehensive documentations of the model's actual behavior and its decisions. And by prioritizing responsibility in LLM development and deployment, an organization can foster trust, mitigate risk, and ensure that the ethical and responsible use of these powerful AI systems is top of mind. Okay, so one of the things that we're often asked is whether or not the OWASP top 10 for LLMs is related to the Gaia framework and how that might be, and whether or not we're trying to follow the Gaia framework. And while the OWASP top 10 is and the Gaia framework are distinct and separate initiatives, they're separate things, they do complement each other when you're addressing LLM security concerns. The OWASP list really focuses specifically on LLM-specific vulnerabilities, things like prompt injection and insecure output handling, where the Gaia framework provides a broader DevSecOps framework that we can use to help mitigate those risks. Gaia's emphasis on secure development practices, automated security testing, and resource management aligns with addressing several of the OWASP LLM risks. For instance, Gaia's secure data management and access control features can help prevent sensitive information disclosure, while its DevOps practices could aid in managing resources effectively, potentially mitigating denial of service risks. And by integrating both frameworks, organizations can create a comprehensive approach to LLM security, leveraging Gaia's DevSecOps capabilities to implement controls that a specific LLM vulnerability that was identified by OWASP. So let's talk about some of the challenges for security teams that AI and LLMs bring into an enterprise. These are the things that we talk about on a very regular basis with CISOs when we're talking about total AI. And they can really be summarized into 5 individual buckets, starting with low visibility. Many security teams are blindsided by their AI workloads like we talked about earlier. They often don't know where the models are running, how they're being deployed, and that really creates a major blind spot. Without proper visibility, it's impossible to manage risk effectively. Another major issue is model and data loss. AI-related vulnerabilities in infrastructure and packages can lead to data leaks or even the theft of the model itself. And interestingly, inside of our install base here at Qualys, we've seen nearly 7 million AI-related detections so far across nearly 3 million separate assets. And that number is rapidly increasing every day as we learn of and develop more content. Next, we have the increased attack surface. This is because LLMs generally work in conjunction with applications and their supporting databases. This gives attackers a broader attack surface to exploit and compromise. And once they get in, they can steal sensitive data, which might contain high-value information like PII or the models themselves, which, as we learned earlier, are the crown jewels when it comes to AI, LLMs, and your organization's data. Then there's the low security model, or the low security maturity, rather. This is not surprising. If you think about it, when IaaS, or infrastructure as a service, came out, there were a lot of enterprises that believed security was the cloud service provider's responsibility. That was until they really understood that shared responsibility model, where responsibility of security is shared across multiple organizations. When it comes to LLMs and AI, we are in the early days, and there's still a lot for everyone to learn and agree on. A lot of organizations are in the early stages of understanding risks around AI, which leaves them vulnerable to the compliance violations and potential fines. And lastly, there's the issue of security silos. A lot of enterprises, frankly, have too many tools, and sometimes, in some cases, more than 80 tools. But there's no good way to correlate risk around their AI infrastructure and the models, let alone on top of all of their traditional IT or cloud environments. And this makes it really difficult to get a full view of their AI-related risk across their entire stack. And that's where we start talking about total AI. So we're going to take a look at what Qualys Total AI addresses compared to the challenges that we've already discussed. So the first key capability is complete visibility across your entire AI stack. With Total AI, you can discover all of your AI assets and get a complete inventory of your AI software, packages, and hardware, so you know exactly what assets you need to secure. Next is vulnerability assessment. Now, built on the learnings that we have and the technology from Qualys VMDR, Total AI detects over 1,000 AI-specific vulnerabilities so far. It then correlates them in real time across everything at Qualys via TrueRisk. The integration with the Qualys platform allows you to quickly patch vulnerabilities to harden your infrastructure and protect your models from theft and data leakage. So now we move on to the models themselves. And we are really excited about the new technology that we've built. We developed a new scanner that is specific to the LLMs themselves. Total AI lets you scan your LLM endpoints and test them for risks like data leakage, bias, or jailbreak vulnerabilities. We also map these threats to the OWASP Top 10 for LLM, as well as the Atlas framework, the MITRE Atlas framework. And finally, there's reporting and compliance. Total AI helps you stay compliant with regulations like GDPR and PCI. In addition to the technical report data that your developers will be able to use to secure their environments, you'll receive detailed LLM security reports tailored for management, ensuring your models remain compliant, which is protecting you from those potential fines and regulatory issues. So to sum it up, Total AI gives you complete visibility, vulnerability management, and the tools to assess and secure your LLMs, all while helping you maintain compliance across the board. And Qualys does all of this using the existing agent and scanner technology that's in place today, so there's very, very minimal lift to actually get started. Now we'll dive a little bit deeper into some of the actual capabilities of Total AI, starting with discovery. One of the most critical parts of securing your AI workloads, like we already talked about, is knowing exactly what's in your environment. Total AI gives you a fingerprint for all of your AI workloads. With this fingerprinting, you can identify AI workloads based on hardware, software, packages, and model files detected on your AI infrastructure. It allows you to see what's running and where, creating a comprehensive inventory. We also provide a confidence score. The confidence score reflects the strength of the AI workload's fingerprint. This helps you prioritize assets by understanding how likely they are to be involved in an AI workload, making your risk assessment just that more accurate. And importantly, with Total AI, you'll know exactly where your models are running and how they correlate with potential attack exposures. This visibility is super important for protecting your organization's crown jewels, the models and the data that drives all of your AI applications. So now we'll talk about how Total AI helps with vulnerability detection and remediation. As we've already mentioned, securing your AI infrastructure and models is crucial to preventing model theft and data loss. The Qualys platform provides real-time visibility, real-time vulnerability detection across your entire AI infrastructure, including the software tools and packages that support your models. And with Total AI, you can quickly fix those vulnerabilities on your most critical AI assets, the ones with the high confidence score. This ensures you're securing the AI assets that pose the greatest risk of theft or data exposure. You'll also receive alerts for trending AI threats, so you can stay ahead of emerging vulnerabilities in your environment. Finally, Total AI helps you prioritize risk across your AI assets by correlating vulnerabilities with real-time threats. This ensures that you're addressing the most critical issues first and reducing the overall risk to your AI infrastructure, and thus the security of your entire organization. With Total AI, vulnerability detection becomes proactive, helping you secure your AI environment efficiently and preventing major breaches. So let's move on to how Total AI helps assess and fix risks in your LLMs. One of the critical areas is identifying exposure in your LLMs. And with Total AI, you can assess critical exposures across 16 risk categories and over 20 jailbreak and prompt injection techniques. This ensures a comprehensive assessment of your models, identifying where they're vulnerable to manipulation or things like data leaks. We also map these risks to the OOPS top 10 for LLMs, providing you with clear industry standard framework for understanding and mitigating the security challenge posed by those LLMs. With Model True Risk, you get a unified risk picture for each LLM, allowing you to prioritize which models need immediate attention based on their risk score. And once you've identified the risks, Total AI provides detailed recommendations on how to fix your model across each risk category, helping you mitigate those vulnerabilities quickly and effectively. This approach ensures that you not only discover risks, but also have a clear, actionable path to securing your LLMs, keeping them compliant and safe from potential attacks. Okay, now that we've walked through the product, let's just summarize what we've discussed by looking at the key benefits of Qualys Total AI. First and foremost, you'll gain that enhanced visibility into your entire AI infrastructure. With Total AI, you know exactly where your AI models reside, giving you full control over your environment. On the infrastructure side, Total AI enables proactive hardening by continuously identifying and prioritizing real-time vulnerabilities. This helps prevent both model theft and data loss, keeping your AI infrastructure secure. The third benefit is compliance. With regular model scans, Total AI ensures your models are aligned with data protection and privacy regulations like PCI or GDPR. This helps you prevent costly compliance fines. And risk prioritization is key. Total AI allows you to prioritize risk across your entire AI stack using TrueRisk, eliminating the silos created by multiple security tools and focusing on the most critical threats. And finally, Total AI provides LLM-specific scans that focus on the most critical security risks that are unique to LLMs. This ensures that you can address vulnerabilities specific to your AI models. And with these capabilities, Total AI gives you complete visibility and security across your entire AI stack, from the infrastructure all the way to the models to help de-risk your business. Okay, so now I'm going to go into a demo. In the demo, we're going to take a look at what a successful jailbreak attempt looks like. Then we're going to dive into the Qualys platform, where we'll not only tour the Total AI product, but also dig into that attack. We'll then finish up by looking at what the same attack would look like if the suggested remediation efforts from Total AI were already in place. Okay, so let me show you what happens when we use a jailbreak prompt on this chatbot. At first, when we just ask it to help us deepfake somebody's voice, the model's going to refuse, as it should, to provide a malicious answer. But as you can see with a carefully crafted prompt, it's going to be tricked into giving the instructions, which is something that, frankly, it's just programmed not to do and thus never should have. And this demonstrates just how vulnerable these models can be to different manipulation tactics. And to be clear, this was real. This was conducted in our lab using a Llama 3.1 foundational model. The first step to securing your AI infrastructure, much like any other type of infrastructure, is to truly understand what's in your environment. You need visibility into your AI assets. So let's take a look at the Total AI dashboard. On the top left-hand side of the dashboard, you'll see the number of assets, hardware, and software we have in this particular environment. In this case, you can see that we've got 512 assets using 230 GPUs, or 234 GPUs across those assets. You can also see that we've got almost 1,500 pieces of software, which would be indicative of developing or utilizing AI in that environment. This could be software like Haystack or TensorFlow, PyTorch, Stack AI, something like that. Everything that shows up here are things that we've detected in your environment that are directly related to your AI workflow. If we click on AI assets, we can view a comprehensive list of every AI asset that's in your system that has some sort of an AI fingerprint. And what exactly do I mean by AI fingerprint? For this first asset, we detected infrastructure like an NVIDIA GPU. We looked at packages like PyTorch and software like Scale AI. We know that the safe tensors file is detected. And we know that all of these things are super indicative of an LLM actually being on a system or on an asset. So we provide a confidence score of high that this asset is indeed hosting some sort of an AI workflow. Now, based off of that confidence score and the true risk score, you can easily prioritize the most critical assets that are being used in your AI workflow. These are the things that need your immediate attention now, things that need to be looked at. And from here, you can dive into any of these assets and view the vulnerabilities that are associated with it. And just one click, you can patch them using Qualys Patch Management. And this brings me to the second challenge, which is really prioritizing and fixing all the vulnerabilities that are inside of these AI assets. You can explore the vulnerabilities detected on an AI asset by drilling down on it, just like we just saw, or you can go really broad. You can go broad and look at all the vulnerabilities in your entire environment by using the Vulnerabilities tab. Here, you'll be able to slice and dice the vulns based on your need, or just patch all of them, or the ones that we have patches for. So you could do that, patch all of the ones that we have patches for, but ultimately, we don't necessarily advise that you just go patching all of the things in your environment without any sort of prioritization. We've developed widgets on the Total AI dashboard to help you prioritize those risks and prioritize what it is that you need to pay attention to first. On the dashboard, you'll see a prioritized list of the top 10 vulnerabilities in your infrastructure. And clicking on the widget, you can see the details of each vulnerability. And with just one click, you can patch them across the environment and drastically reduce the true risk of your AI assets. And as of today, like I said earlier, Qualys detects over 1,000 vulnerabilities that are specifically related to AI and LLMs. The third topic that we'll talk about here is securing the models themselves, which are behind all of these AI applications, the LLMs. So let's talk about how Total AI addresses this. By going into the model section, you can not only view all of the existing models, but this is where with just a few steps, you'll be able to onboard a model, which is you can see what we're doing here. And then from Total AI will scan and test your onboarded model for risks. For this demo, we're testing the same LLM from the first chatbot application where we saw the model provide the instructions for the deepfake. So after the scan, you can see the details that are associated with the model. In the model details summary tab, where we are here, you get an overview where you'll see things like basic details about the model, top detections, and any of the metadata that we can get, but we're going to focus on the detection settings. So when we click detections, we can see how the model performed across those 16 different risk categories and the more than 20 different jailbreak and prompt injection techniques. And we can see here that the results of the scan provide input to the overall unified risk picture of the model through a true risk score, which is coming soon to Total AI. So now let's circle back to the initial demo and dive into the details of that jailbreak attempt that we did, which was successful earlier. Here is where we're going to be able to see the question your model answered when it shouldn't have. This is the same vuln that we saw from that initial chatbot demo, and you can see how it failed. And then when we go back out to the dashboard and you scroll to the bottom, you'll be able to see that we provide recommendations on how to fix the model. And we map those solutions to the OWASP Top 10 and the MITRE Atlas standards. Now, if you were to follow the guidelines suggested here in Total AI and fix that model, we can see how it'll perform after it's remediated. Okay, and this is where we're actually going to run that same test that we ran before, with one difference. It's been remediated. We start off by attempting to just straight ask it for instructions for that deepfake, and it refuses just like it should, right? Just like it did before. But then we're going to attempt to use the same exact jailbreak prompt like we did in the first part of the demo. The difference now, again, is that it's been secured following the recommendations from Total AI. And as you can see, the attack is now unsuccessful. All right, that's my presentation for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in and spending all this time with me to learn about Qualys Total AI. Be sure to go to qualys.com/totalai to sign up and get more information and try Total AI. Thank you so much.